Hi, I'm George Graham, and
I'm Gemma Nash.
we're here today to talk about what's hot in data for 2023. So, Gemma, we're halfway through January, and already we've had a couple of really significant data protection related developments. So it's shaping up to be a busy year already. What do you think are going to be the hot topics in data for 2023?
Thanks, George. I think there's going to be many hot topics, but I'm just going to pick out some of the four key ones for this year. So I think firstly, it's UK data reform. The UK government published the Data Protection and Digital Information Bill, but I think we're expecting to see some more updates to that text and waiting to see how much further it deviates from the EU GDPR. Secondly, international data transfers. Again, still seeing the fallout of Schrems 2 and Brexit. We've got the ICO's updated data transfer agreements, but we're waiting for a bit more guidance on how to use them. And then I think adequacy decisions as well, particularly the EU-US adequacy decision. Very hopeful, I think, as with everyone, that will come this year. GDPR certification schemes is my number three. So that's schemes that show conformity to the GDPR requirements. The EDPB approved the first scheme called Euro Privacy towards the end of last year. And then fourthly, online advertising and online tracking in general. I think there's already been some developments this year. It's just a very complex topic. I think that would be another big one for 2023.
Indeed, thanks very much, Gemma. And focusing then on enforcement, what do we think are the ICO's enforcement priorities for 2023? Where can we see it taking some action?
Yeah, good question. I think the ICO will continue to enforce PECA as it always does. Actively, it published some updated guidance towards the end of last year on direct marketing. Equally, the ICO's 25 plan suggests its priorities are around protecting and safeguarding vulnerable individuals. And related to that, I think we'll see more enforcement of the ICO's age appropriate design code, which looks at protecting um, children in the online environment. And then finally, I think the ICO generally takes a more holistic approach to enforcement and has done, and I think the new commissioner will continue to do the same. So that's looking to cooperate with companies to bring them up to compliance rather than necessarily jumping straight to the kind of large GDPR style fines that we see in Europe. And then kind of moving away then from just pure personal data, I think there's been also quite a lot of developments around broader data regulation. I wonder, George, if you were able to tell us a bit about those.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. So, data protection and privacy will continue to be a key pillar of data regulation, and there's loads going on in that space, as you pointed out, Gemma. But beyond that, beyond pure privacy and personal data, we are seeing a complex new regulatory framework in the EU, in particular, around data and the access to and sharing of data, be it personal or non-personal. And we see that in the form of the Data Governance Act from the EU, which comes into effect later this year, and also the Data Act, which at the moment is in proposal stage. And there's also data aspects to other key bits of EU digital regulations, such as the AI Act, the Digital Services Act, and others. So that's it in the EU. I suppose, will we see the same in the UK? Currently, the UK is taking a different approach. So it's not looking at enacting an overarching regulatory framework for data in the same way, but it's still relatively early days. And what we may see is more sector specific data regulation as opposed to that kind of broad horizontal data regulation. So that's undoubtedly something to look out for in 2023 and beyond. And so I think with that, Gemma, we've covered a lot of ground and come to the end of our whistle stop tour of what's to come in data for 2023. You can see more from us in future editions of the Regulatory Outlook, where we fill in some of those topics on our Eating Compliance for Breakfast webinars and also on our dedicated Dipping into Data webinars. Thank you very much.